The Vail Dance Festival returns to the stage July 29th through August 9th. Conversations on Dance returns for a fifth year to bring audiences behind the curtain and closer to the festival artists they love. Our live podcast recordings have just been announced and will be running from July 30th through August 9th, totaling 10 events. Guests include Justin Peck, Sarah Mearns, Pam Tanowitz, Caroline Shaw, Lauren Lovett, and many others. I will be on maternity leave this summer. These live events will be hosted by Michael with special guest hosts throughout the festival. Tickets are on sale now and can be purchased at vaildance.org/conversations-on-dance or click the link in the description of this episode. Be sure to subscribe to Conversations on Dance wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any of the content coming from the Vail Dance Festival.
Do you want to make great money doing what you love? Do you wish dance could be your sole income? Are you ready to take inspired action on your ideas whilst letting go of the story that dance isn't a real career? Then turn your passion into profit with Allie Phillips' new dance business coaching program for dance entrepreneurs. You absolutely can turn your passion into a profitable, purpose-driven business. You absolutely can make decisions with confidence and ease, not limited by the blockages in your mind, but instead deep, embodied trust in your journey. You absolutely can create the lifestyle you desire with consistent and impactful habits that will serve your personality and feel aligned with your business. Inspired action creates confidence, freedom, and fulfillment in your dance business. So if you are a dancer wanting to create a personal brand, a dance studio owner wanting to grow their business, or an entrepreneur waiting to start from scratch, consider hiring Allie to hold you accountable to your goals and dreams. Allie has successfully turned her passion into a successful, sustainable, and profitable business, and she's so excited to help you do the same. For Conversations on Dance listeners only, mention that you heard about Allie through the podcast, and if you sign up in the month of June, you'll receive 20% off her new 10-week coaching program. Visit alliephillips.org or click the link in the description of this episode for more details. Everyone must have a quick, free discovery call to see if the program is the right fit.
I'm Rebecca King Ferraro.
And I'm Michael Sean Breeden, and you're listening to Conversations on Dance. On today's episode of Conversations on Dance, we are joined by Dance Theatre of Harlem Ballerina Ingrid Silva. Ingrid has been breaking barriers and gaining industry-wide attention since she first joined DTH for the company's revival in 2013. We talk about her leap of faith in leaving her home country of Brazil, the impact that Arthur Mitchell had on her early career, and what her experience being a new mother while keeping up with DTH's demanding touring and performing schedule has been.
This episode was recorded as a part of Dance Theatre of Harlem's Sunday Matinee virtual series. An abbreviated version of this interview appeared in this virtual performance, accompanied by beautiful photos and video clips. To watch that portion of this interview, plus the programming we discuss in this episode, we have included the YouTube link in the description of this episode. And now our full interview with Ingrid Silva. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Rebecca King Ferraro.
And I'm Michael Sean Breeden. Rebecca and I are both former dancers with the Miami City Ballet and hosts of the podcast Conversations on Dance.
We're so happy to be here today as part of Dance Theatre of Harlem's Sunday Matinee virtual series. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with DTH dancer Ingrid Silva. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ingrid.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
We're so happy to have you. And while Sunday Matinee viewers will be enjoying a short excerpt of this interview, anyone who would like to hear the entire interview can join us on the podcast the week of June 20th when we will be releasing the full excerpt.
Yeah. So everyone, if they're interested in listening, they can subscribe to Conversations on Dance wherever you get your podcasts. We'll also be putting it out on our website, conversationsondancepod.com. So we hope that everyone will pop over there and listen later this month.
Great. So now we can just dive right in with you, Ingrid. We've been wanting you on the podcast for a really long time. And we just want to start where we do with all of our guests and just find out a little bit about how you first became interested in dance.
So I'm originally from Brazil. Being a dancer was never my dream. I was also very energetic. So I used to run around the house, and then my mom was always trying to find ways to get me to dance or do anything else that would get my energy going. And then at the age of 8, one of my neighbors actually mentioned to my mom, hey, so there is a ballet audition happening. Would you like to take her? And for me, it was like, wow, ballet. I've never seen it. I don't even know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You have your
And
beautiful daughter joining us.
yes.
What's your name?
Fala, Laura. Laura. The hi. The hi.
She got a little shy. Sorry, go ahead.
And then we did the audition. I had no dance shoes or anything. So then I did barefoot. She really liked me. She said I had the potential. And then she was like, hey, can you bring her more often to take classes? And then from that moment, I've learned a lot about dance that I had no idea that was possible. I mean, discipline, perseverance, resilience, and most important, I think, this project that I auditioned to was a community dance project in the favelas of Brazil. So we often don't have sports, or if you do, it's very expensive, so you cannot afford. So this dance program gave me shoes, gave me clothes, tights, everything. And I danced with them for 10 years until I came to America.
Wow.
So what was your, when did your understanding of dance as a professional option come into your view? Like, was that early on? Did you understand that could be a career, or did it take a little while before you realized, wait, being a ballerina can be a life?
Yeah, it took me a little while. I think when I was 12, one of my closest teachers popped the question asking if I would see dance as a professional career. And it was really hard because even though Brazil, it's very diverse, in ballet, I was the only one in the room. So I was like, I don't think I can see that as a career. I don't see anyone that looks like me.
Right.
And then that was really hard. But she was like, well, never give up. Keep working hard. There will be opportunities and moments that you definitely can get better on your technique, and opportunities will come. So for me, honestly, one day when I was 18, Betania Gomes, she was a former principal dancer with Dance Theatre of Harlem. She's also Brazilian. She danced the Firebird and, been spectacular in her career. She walked into this dance community project. Her friend was one of our teachers, and she saw me and she was like, wow, she's very talented. We have to send a video of her to Dance Theatre of Harlem. By that time, Arthur Mitchell was alive. That was in 2007. He saw the video, really, really liked me, and then asked me to audition in person. I came in 2008, landed in America, had no idea what was happening or what I was doing. And I went straight to DTH. And it was amazing because when I opened the door in the building, I was like, wow, everyone here looks like me. And I joined the school for 3 months where they had a program called Dance Theatre of Harlem Professional Training Program. And through that program, I used to just go to the program and also rehearse with the ensemble, which was the small company at the time.
Right.
Doing the same thing as the big company does now, is touring and preparing and doing that kind of stuff. So I was in both. And then Mr. Mitchell was like, what?
Hi.
Isso. And then Mr. Mitchell was like, hey, I think you should join Dance Theatre of Harlem Ensemble. And then I think that moment when he said that, for me, it was like, wow, I actually became a professional. And I think that was when the key turned. I had no idea I could be until I was there.
Right. I wonder, we're kind of like in a similar generation to you. We were kind of starting our careers around that same time as well. And Michael and I talk so much about, VHSs that we watched that felt, very formative to what our understanding of ballet was at that time, because we didn't have YouTube and all the things and social media like they do now. So I wonder what your understanding was of DTH and Arthur Mitchell leading up to that point when someone suggested that you look into it, or were you just like, well, okay, why not? Or was it something that you kind of had your eye on?
I mean, honestly, I had no understanding. And meanwhile, in one of the dance schools that I danced, had a big poster of Dance Theatre of Harlem. And I've never seen that poster. I was like, how is this? But it was a huge dance school, which is from the Municipal of Rio. And they had different pictures in the wall. And then for some reason, after performing and dancing here for a while, I look in the wall and I was like, wow, they've been here this long time. How I have never seen them. So that to me was really incredible. But because the company then was in hiatus, that was the
Mm-hmm.
2004 moment when they had the hiatus.
Right.
I had no idea of who they were until I actually came in the building, learned about the history of the company, saw Arthur Mitchell in person, got to work
Right.
with him. I mean, because overall, if I am who I am today, is because he was the one who saw something in me. And I'm pretty
Right.
sure I was raw and looked crazy back then. Like he really had to work on this jewel, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I think seeing that and how the opportunity that he gave it to me, you know, the chance. That's all we're
Mm-hmm.
looking for. That really changed everything. And when I learned about dyeing your punch shoes to match your skin color, dyeing your tights, that to me was mind blowing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've never knew anything before. So leading up to that, that's when I saw the potential of this amazing organization.
Yeah.
Right. Was Arthur's belief in you kind of what gave you the bravery to come to New York on your own at that young
Yeah,
age?
yeah, I think so. I mean, I was 18, didn't speak
Mm-hmm.
English at all. He saw
Wow.
my video. He was like, "Well, we loved you. We would love to see you in person." He's very honest. That man is honest. He wouldn't lie. He wouldn't make me go across the ocean to just come here and do a tondu and go back home. He knew.
Right.
I didn't know, but he knew.
Right.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that to me gave me the courage of like, wow, if he believes in me, let me just give it a chance and see where it would take me. And I
Mhm.
think
Mm-hmm.
that was the step.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what like the culture shock was like for you. Like you just mentioned you didn't speak English yet. While you did find an immediate maybe community within, I mean, did you even find an immediate community within the dancers there at Dance Theatre of Harlem? Did it take a little while? Were there other Brazilian dancers? What was that like early adjustment like for you?
Well, it was a huge cultural shock
I
because I
bet.
didn't speak the language. I didn't find a community right away because I couldn't communicate with them.
Sure.
Right.
So that was the hardest moment for me. I remember telling my mom I wanted to go home every day. I was like, I don't want to stay here. I want to go home. Like, this has been really hard. And she's like, well, you're not coming back. You got to stay there. You got
Uh-huh.
to work hard. Life is not easy, and this is your only chance. And I'm very grateful for her, even though she had no idea of what ballet was and what it took to be a
Mm-hmm.
dancer, because her strength also helped me overcome this cultural shock.
Right.
I used to go to dance all day, come back and try. I went to like a ESL English course to try to
Mm-hmm.
learn English. That didn't go very well because I thought I was gonna be like speaking like everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
we know it's not like that. I
Right.
think I
Right.
only figured when I was in there. After a year, I learned English, so I was able to communicate with people more. And that definitely helped me finding my own community and my close friends. I mean, Chris
Right.
is one of them. I don't even know how we talked back then or how he could understand, but I
Uh-huh.
was mimicking a lot. And
Yeah.
that
Right.
definitely changed everything. I also had a friend, Flavia, who is Laura's godmother, who also danced in the company. Flavia was Brazilian from São Paulo. She danced in an
Mm-hmm.
amazing dance company in São Paulo. And she was like Arthur Mitchell Jew as well back then. And she was a huge inspiration for me. She helped me in every way, not just dancing, but translating, because she was the only one that could speak both languages.
Right.
Right.
And that definitely helped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about your time specifically with Arthur? Obviously, such a huge dance icon and just a really important 20th century dance figure. And to be with Arthur in the final years of his life and to have him sort of guide you into this career, what were some of the most memorable experiences you had under his direction?
I think seeing him for the first time was really amazing. He definitely gave me the chance and the confidence. He would do this test of telling you to stand on a tendu in a second position. And from that, he would know where that would take you in your career. And I remember doing a Porter Bride, the end of the audition with him, and he would go, "Can you do a tondu in second?" And I was like, "Tondu in second? We did the whole bar. We did the center. Why you need me to do a tondu in second?" And he was like, "Well, I just wanted to see your presence." And I felt like I was very shy, but I was like, "Okay, don't do in second." And I looked, bright into the future. Because I also remember when he said, "Let the light hit your cheekbones." And he was like, okay, you're good. Smile. If you don't do that port de bras very well, I'm sending you back to Brazil. And I only remember sending you back to Brazil. I was like, yes, I'm doing my best. So that was amazing. I also saw him very much as like a father figure. Like, even though he was very serious at his job, I remember he used to teach us every Wednesday and make us go across the floor in the assembly like nobody's. And that was a really amazing, great experience I had with him. As I've grown, he kind of like took a step away from the company when we had Virginia join in, but we never lost contact. I remember seeing him after a long time. I think it was one of his appearances or teaching at the bar. He was like, "How are you guys doing? I've watching everything that you're doing. It's been really amazing." So I think he was definitely a person that I will never forget, that he was able to give me the chance and to shape me and definitely know where his legacy stands. And I think that's one of the most important things.
Yeah. Do you have any specific memories of him maybe coaching you in any specific ballet or like working on something specific that maybe stands out in your memory?
Yes. I remember we have a ballet by Robert Garland called Return. And I was very new to that. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And then I remember I had to jump on a guy's shoulder and I was running towards a diagonal. And then he would say, "Hey, I know you're shorter, but I know you have a big jump. Get that jump up." So I would run towards the diagonal to jump on the guy's shoulder. I think that was my kind of like first pas de deux role. And he used to make this noise like, "Ah, ah." And that meant when something was really amazing or we do definitely hit the step, that was his reaction. And I was like, wow, okay, I think I did it. And then there was another ballet that he created a pas de deux called The Greatest, that believed in the children, believed in the future. And I remember learning that, but I was so raw and I had no idea what I was doing. I always keep remembering, like, what if I was this person that I am now back then? But everything happens for a reason. But I remember him like, well, you need to remember this is an important embrace of teaching the kids the future of dance or the future of what they would love to do in art. So it's really important for you to use this kind of movement. So he was an amazing coach. Like, you would definitely see a difference in your movements, in the way you carry yourself. He was very particular at that. He would always say, "You represent something larger than yourself." And I definitely know what that means.
Right.
That's so beautiful. As you mentioned earlier, you came to DTH in sort of a difficult time for the company. The main company had been disbanded temporarily in 2004, and you've watched the company build back to its kind of rightful place in the pantheon of important dance institutions. What has that been like? Like, can you tell us from the time you got to DTH to now, where the company's getting the sort of acclaim and appreciation it deserves again?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. I mean, even for myself, I think throughout the years, it's been really beautiful to see everything developing. If I'm not mistaken, Virginia came in 2013, and that was a real turn and a change for the company. She has an amazing way of embracing all of us and squeezing out of us the best that we can be on stage. as artists. Her way of working is also very particular, and I think that definitely changed and shaped whoever generations of dancers are coming to the company now. Throughout the years, I've also found myself very confident in growing in my artistry, growing with everything that the dance art form can offer. The company and the organization has also changed. It doesn't seem so far from now, but I remember my first magazine cover, which was Point Magazine, who soon it's going to be celebrating their anniversary. That was only 5 years ago. It's not even that long. And just to see how the company has evolved from when I was 18, now I'm 33, I have Laura, I have performed all over in many places, worked with many brands, and taken dance to different places that dance wasn't seen before. So I think being part of this organization now, it's more than ever one of the best moments I could say. We have done so much. We have opened many doors. We have formed many dancers, and we will keep doing that as the future comes.
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder, while you're talking about working with these brands, you have such an impressive, like reading your resume of all these great things that you've done. You've, like you mentioned, your Point Magazine cover. You've also worked with Nike and Dove and AT&T. I'm sure there's many other ones. But what makes you really eager to take on that opportunity? And like you're saying, you know, kind of bring dance to an audience that might not see it otherwise.
I mean, I think more than anything, it's not just about being the first to work with these brands or just having the recognition or opening doors. I think my figure now does not stand just for dance. I don't want to be that little person that everybody knows that, oh, she's a dancer, but she also has worked with this. I see my image now as an inspiration for the future generation of Black boys and Black girls who wants to dance and become professional. And also in expansion, the world needs to know that ballet is just not part of a theater set. Ballet is worldwide, you know, it's a different language of art, and it really transforms. If I haven't done my first tendu or plie when I was back in Brazil, I wouldn't be able to be here. Maybe if a little girl haven't seen me in a Dove commercial talking about my hair, but also being my beautiful brown point shoes, she wouldn't know that it's possible for her.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder what that would have felt like for you as a child to have seen someone like yourself in a Nike commercial. What would that have meant to you?
Oh, wow. I think that would definitely change everything, you know? I think definitely would start shaping my confidence, because once you were the only person in the room, it can be very intimidating. I know we always talked about diversity and we want to do that change in the ballet world, but we really have to see that change happening. Over the years, we've had many organizations saying that they want to change, but do we really see these bodies on stage? And I mean, bodies actually that looks like mine. I think that as much as important as we want to do things and see the changes, we really have to see those changes on stage. So if we do a list right now of how many people or how many Black dancers we have in major companies, out of 60 dancers, you have 3 or 4. And that's not enough. So I think that's also something for us to revisit. And when you asked me when I was 12, would I see that as a career? Maybe not, because where I was in one of the major companies I was close to, they didn't have anyone that looked like me. So definitely was not possible.
Right.
But if I have seen me back then, I would definitely know that was possible. Also seeing a company as Dance Theatre of Harlem with so much diversity in it. We have dancers from Brazil, we have dancers from Cuba, we have dancers from Haiti, from Mexico. How many other companies take a risk and pull those dancers together? We don't have many. We have just the norm. But if you want to follow what the future in dance is, we need to make more accessible so whoever audience are coming to the theaters can see themselves on stage.
Exactly. I love that. That's exactly what I think of all the time. It's like you want the arts organizations to reflect community, right? And it's right now in the dance world, it's not there yet. And so I think it's so beautiful that not only have you committed yourself to, being an artist, but to help further cement this idea that representation matters. By not representing a community, you're inherently excluding certain children from that visual of knowing that it's possible for them.
Definitely.
And you've done all this work. I mean, these projects you've started, and Empower Her, and Blacks in Ballet. Can you tell us a little bit about like the genesis of these individual things that are helping to get further word out there to underserved communities?
Yeah, I mean, Empower Her New York was born in 2014 after lots of talks with my friends and family, women specifically. We haven't had a voice in a while. I mean, we've always had a voice, but we were not heard. And as we see now with all these laws where mans are stipulating what we should do and what we shouldn't, it was really important to create an organization who supports women in every full and powerful way, and embracing their projects, embracing their personality, embracing their ideas and dreams. We've had a roster of more than 2,000 women globally part of this community. We've kept growing. We've had done events. We've kind of took a little break recently, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. But we are still doing events online, and we are in contact with our community. Our blog has been on and up with a lot of articles that people can always explore and come back to us. So I'm very proud of this organization. And one of my newest projects that came through the pandemic as well was Blacks in Ballet. Blacks in Ballet is an extension of a dream that I have of creating the first ever Black dance festival in Brazil, and maybe becoming global if we have partners and people who believes in us. I believe also it's not just about giving scholarship to the dancers or give them opportunities and give them space, but also giving them jobs. We have elite Black dancers worldwide who are not being able to reach their fullest potentials, maybe because they don't have an opportunity. So what we wanted to do with Blacks in Ballet, first of all, it's also an online digital platform who showcase dancers globally. So when people ask you, I didn't know this dancer, and then you're like, oh, look at Blacks in Ballet. They have many dancers of color. And also, I think we share their stories. We share their journeys, where they came from, what they do, and things like that. And I think that's one of the most important things. It's not just about giving dancers a platform, but giving them an opportunity. So we're slowly but surely working on for us to have a dance festival in Brazil. I want to start there because it's where I come from, and we have many talented kids there as well. And then eventually partner with companies here who can give these dancers and scholarship and maybe spots in their company. And with that foundation, I can definitely see that we will push forward to the diversity we expect to see in the future of dance.
So for any presenters that are listening that might be interested in this project, how's the best way to connect with that organization?
They can definitely email us or email me, Ingrid Silva Ballet at Gmail, or Blacks in Ballet Gmail.
Okay. And you have an Instagram account, right? I was looking at it this morning. It's so beautiful.
Yes. We have a Blacks in Ballet Instagram account, and we are very proud of showing all these beautiful and amazing dancers and sharing their dreams.
That's beautiful. Well, Ingrid, we are witnessing firsthand something we had as another question, which is you just gave, you had your firstborn, and you are juggling motherhood for the first time with your professional career. You're on tour right now, and your daughter is on the interview with us.
Yes.
So what has that process been like for you? How do you find that balance, and how does it shift your approach to your work?
I mean, it's a whole new world, literally, that I had no idea that was possible to happen. Having Laura, it really changed everything. I mean, first of all, when I found out that I was pregnant, I thought I would never dance again, because we know very well how when you are a woman and you are a professional woman, it doesn't matter what kind of level you are, but not every dance company or directors or the dance world embrace you as they should. And I think that's a huge problem that we have, and a misconception that it needs to get better. Women can do both. And if they choose so, they can pause their career and just become a mother, or vice versa. You never know. I think to me, when I first told Virginia, it was more of a shock for both of us because I was very scared. And she was like, wow, this happened, so quick. I had no idea. I went on vacation and I came back with Laura. So, but in a way, it was the best way because the pandemic was here. Right. And I would find time to get back in shape, reorganize my body, reorganize my mind, spend time with her, and definitely get back in dance. So when people always makes joke of like, oh, what you did while the pandemic happened? I was like, well, I had a baby. And then it's like nothing happened, but definitely happened. So
you're very productive.
I know. So I think having her, it was the highlight because I didn't know that was possible. The first few months were very hard in my body because I had diastasis. For people who don't know, it's a space that it's created with your abdomen, when it expands a lot and it has a hard time to come back. I believe I'm still working on it now, but it's much better than before. I also had to do another microsurgery. So it was rough. It was really rough for me. It wasn't easy. And once that passed, that was the moment of getting back in the studio. So I started taking classes back when she was around 5-6 months, and I would take her with me because I'm from Brazil, so my mother's not here. We don't have family here. Right. It's just me and my husband, and both of us are changing and doing the best as we can with our schedule. And then so I would go for half a day with her to the studio, and then he would stay with the other part of the day with her. It was well when she was little because, they sleep all day and then it's just playing. Now that she's 1 and growing, going on tour with her at first, it wasn't scary at all because she's been traveling with me since she's 3 months. So I knew we got that covered. But after she completed 1, she wanted to do tendus. She wanted to do pliés. She's putting ponchos on. She's running around the studio. She's under people's legs on round the jumps and things like that. So it's really nice, actually. I didn't thought that was possible. We always see something as such as struggling. Is it hard? I mean, it is hard. But I think what makes the most out of it and what makes the best is that, first of all, I have a group that fully supports me. It's not even their responsibility, but they have embraced both of us. Second, I think it's having Virginia, that it's such an icon in dance. But she also was able to embrace me and Laura, not just me. And I think another crazy thing that all of us dancers are blown away, it's how they connect. For some reason, I think both of them were in a different life together. Virginia is the only person that when Laura is like throwing a fit or crying, she goes in her arms and she stops crying.
Are you serious? Wow. That's amazing.
Yes. And we can prove. We have all seen it, and I have a video. I'm like, how is this possible?
How does she do it?
I don't know, but they have like this family bond connection. And it's so nice to see. Sometimes she sees me like trying to juggle both places, and she's like, do you want me to hold her so you can take class? So I have this sling that she puts it on. She did us class, and she has her on it around the studio.
Oh my God.
And then Laura falls asleep in her arms.
That's the sweetest thing.
How that happens, I don't know, but I find that really eye-opening for the next generation. That directors can definitely embrace you. And meanwhile, we are not a company that stays afloat just in New York. We travel all over the world. So everyone is always helping. As you guys could see, Laura was part of the interview now earlier, and now going to the pool with the other members. So it's really nice. I feel very, very loved and very embraced. And because of that, I can keep doing what I love to do.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. As you mentioned, DTH does travel a lot. You're on tour right now, but one tour that must have been particularly meaningful to you was returning to Brazil. What was that full circle moment like to be sharing your passion with your home country?
That was once in a life opportunity. I got to dance Waltz Fantasy by George Balanchine with Christopher. And that was our opening night. I was nervous and sweating bullets. And, I am always very focused, strong. I know what I'm doing. I'm ready. And then I was like, Christopher, can you hold my hand? Can we pray? It was right before we got on stage. And he was like, yeah, of course we can pray. So I think that moment for me was really special, but not just special because we were fully connected, but it was a full circle. Coming back to my country as a professional dancer, after all the work that I have done, it was really, really amazing to see how people really appreciate. And when I finished every performance, the line was around the block. The company would get ready, go on a bus, go back to the hotel. I was like, I'm staying here and I'm talking to every single person who made their way here. Because I didn't know if I would be able to see them again. And for them, that was the only chance to get to meet me, talk to me, take a photo. It seems like it's nothing, but I know that for us, it's so much, and I really embraced that moment. It was really special to have my grandma there in a theater watching me for the first time. My dad was there, my mom and my brother. So it was definitely one of the most amazing moments in my career.
Wow, that's so great. Beautiful. Let's shift gears and talk a little bit about DTH's Sunday matinee series. Can you tell us a little bit about the origin of this series and what DTH is looking to accomplish with these virtual series each week?
Yeah, so our dance matinees are a tradition that Mr. Mitchell created back then to bring history, culture, and community to Harlem. Since he founded in 1969, we've been having Sunday matinees. I remember when I first came to Brazil, we had a huge audience. We used to have 2 every Sunday, one at 3 and one at 5. So we would give the community more chance to be part of what Dance Theatre of Harlem is. It was really amazing to see that we've not just held dance. We had dance, music, theater, arts, and we have also invited other companies. So Sunday Matinee is a very, very beautiful way of the community to be part of the organization. Now that it's online, the world can be part of it as well. Anyone can see it from everywhere. I mean, we had our last Sunday matinee. I've had a lot of friends from Brazil watching the show. It was really beautiful. I think we're also trying to have people closer to us, be part of our community, understand more about the organization, understand more about what the legacy of this dance company is, and not just that, highlight other dancers and other art forms.
Yeah. So for this performance, you'll be a part of the new staging of the prologue of The Sleeping Beauty. And this is restaged by Dylan Santos, who also recently did the Odalisque section of Corsair, which I think anyone that follows DTH on social media, it was just such a fun thing to just watch this classical excellence from the dancers of DTH. Like we all kept resharing that video, the 3 of you. It's just so beautiful. But what is it been like working with Dylan on these restagings, and why do you think that works of the 19th century still resonate with audiences of today?
I think we are rewriting classicals as the world has evolving, and I think that's what Dylan did. He has a very creative mind for ideas and reshaping, keeping the classical art form, teaching different, bringing the story with a little twist, more of what nowadays is. I love working with him. He's also one of my partners, so he's also a great partner. We just restaged the prologue, and it was really beautiful to see how each one of us has stepped into our roles in just 3 weeks of work. because we really had to record for the Sunday matinee. So it was really beautiful to see how we challenge ourselves, how the choreography came together, how the pas de days came together, how it's going to be really beautiful to see everyone's reactions on how he restaged this, because it's not as regular as people are used to see. I can't tell much spoilers. You guys gotta watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Well, fortunately, people can watch right after this, so they're going to get to see it. Now, is this going to have another life after this, or is it just this prologue for today, or is there going to be more in the future?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Virginia is going to take this prologue on tour and part of our performances, like she has done with Odalisque. And I think it's also beautiful for the audience to see us navigating to all kinds of dance. GTA dancers are very versatile. We do classical, we are classically trained, but we do anything and everything. I mean, it's also great to see that we have worked with amazing choreographers. And that's what challenges us to be different from other dancers and getting outside of the box. Or in one program, you can do George Balanchine at first, then you go to Odalisque, then you go to Stanton Welch Orange, then you go to Return by James Brown, or Higher Ground to Steve Wonder. And this is what a variety of how you expose to different dances and choreographers can bring you to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just to wrap up our interview today, I you when you think about coming from Brazil, just taking that risk to where you are right now, and the change you've been able to affect, not just as a dancer, but as a representative of the art form and your community. What's the thing you're most proud of from your time at DTH?
Wow. I'm proud of my journey with the company itself. I'm proud of, coming from, there's that Drake song that I always talk about, which is funny, but started from the bottom and now we're here, coming from how I didn't speak in English. I had a huge dream. I wanted to be a dancer. And in the middle of that, I found myself as an activist, not just speaking for myself, but for the future of dancers who look up to me, and how that also has shaped me to become the mother I am today to Laura, and being able to take her with my journey and taking her with me and seeing how the organization is taking us into this future of dance. Being also able to see how dance itself has evolved, how this organization is been seen by futures of generations. It's an institution who have made exceptional dancers throughout history. So being part of this legacy, for me, it's really humble at first. I think here is the place that gave me an opportunity and platform to become the person I am. I will be always forever grateful. I will always be so happy as well and generous about how sharing my journey from here on. It was a beautiful moment to be able to rise above all criticism and people who didn't believe in me, maybe some that still don't believe in me now, but I've never lost the drive. And I've never forgot what Mr. Mitchell said. You always represent something larger than yourself. So that's how I feel.
Beautiful. Ingrid, thank you so much. We hope that the audience will enjoy the Sunday matinee today. And we hope that for all of our listeners and viewers, that you guys will look for Dance Theatre of Harlem. You guys, like you mentioned, are on tour all the time. So for more information, visit dancetheatreofharlem.org. Ingrid, thank you so much again. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ingrid.